Hey everybody, BadAsFish80 here, welcome to the Fish Tank. Today, we're going to be talking about bridge grabs. That's right! We're going to be talking about Minion Masters and the bridge grab mechanic, and also some tips and tricks that you can do. I've been wanting to do some educational videos recently to add to my YouTube, so hopefully you guys can learn some and maybe give us some ideas of your own of those sort of little tips and tricks that you do. Now, as I mentioned, the first thing that we're going to be covering in this video here is bridge grabs. Now, bridge grabs seem a very simple mechanic, but there's a lot of little tips and tricks you can do to maximize your bridges. And of course, as we know, bridges give you XP. Why do you want XP? Well, XP is going to allow you to unlock your perks for the master more quickly and ultimately get to Mana Frenzy. And bridges are still very important in Mana Frenzy because bridges gives you experience, and in Mana Frenzy experience is converted into mana, so more bridges, more mana. Now, as you know, Minion Masters has two bridges. The bridges start off neutral, and taking a bridge is as simple as simply putting a unit over the bridge. Now, normally at the start of the matches, you want to wait until you've got as much mana as possible before committing. You're hoping that your opponent's going to commit mana first and you can react to it in a more appropriate way. Now, that's not always true, though. If you're playing against somebody like a Mordor that's unlikely to have the sort of bridge control, if you've got a heavy bridge control deck, then you can just start off early, try to put the pressure on, get those bridges down, and try to delay your opponent's perks. So you're trying to get your perks as quickly as possible, but of course, you're trying to make your opponent's perks take as long as possible for them to arrive. So, as mentioned, bridge control is very important. We're going to go in and have a look at some different ways of taking bridges and how you can use those to maximize your bridge control experience within Minion Masters. So, the first thing we're going to do is just look at a simple split grab, okay? A lot of units, you get more than one of them. So what you're going to want to do with those is, in a lot of occasions, just drop them in the middle, let them split out, let them take both bridges. Not always, but in most cases. You want to be splitting your units, get pressure on both lanes, whether they're small little crossbow dudes or something a little bit more substantial. So that's bridge grabbing 101 there. Just grab a bridge. You saw the bridges were yellow to start with, neutral. Now they've gone blue, and we're going to start getting some experience. Now, one of the real tricks with bridge grabbing is collision bridge grabbing. Now, collision bridge grabbing is if you put a unit on top of another unit, the game won't allow that, so it will move the units around. You can't have two units in the same spot. And different units have some kind of a weight stat that we can't see, but you can see it in action, because generally if you put a smaller unit on a bigger unit, then the bigger unit will push the smaller unit away. And we're going to look at a quick example here of how you can grab a bridge using the collision mechanic. So as we go into here, you watch the monkey at the bottom, we drop our spirit vessel, boom, we steal the bridge. Now, that happened very quickly, but we can check it in slow-mo. Now, I know what you're going to say, spirit vessel, you didn't get a spirit on a unit, but that's not the important thing right here. We're looking at the collision grabbing. So let's look at that again in slow motion. So you see here the monkey takes the bridge at the bottom. The bridge is red. We're hovering, we're waiting with the spirit vessel. Now, as soon as their monkey is just off the bridge, we spawn the spirit vessel, the monkey pushes the spirit vessel back on the bridge, boom. Well, we didn't do any damage to the monkey, but we did take the bridge. So now we have the monkey to deal with, but we've grabbed the bridge. And that's huge. This game's, in a lot of occasions, down to holding the bridges. And if you're defending and you're able to hold the bridges, then that's great, because you'll find yourself in a position, if you're trying to defend a lot and you're not able to get the bridges back, then you're falling behind, and that's going to be a bad state for you to find yourself in. Now, there's other ways that you can grab the bridge from collision. We'll show you a quick example here. It's the same principle with stealthed units, but you have to be more accurate. And the reason you have to be more accurate is because the enemy unit, when you place your unit down, because your unit is stealth, the enemy unit does not react to it until it attacks. So here, we look at the caber tosser coming across the bottom bridge. We've got our assassin ready to go. You'll see the caber tosser doesn't move, but the assassin does get pushed onto the bridge, and we grab that. So that's where you got to be real specific about your timing, and that's something that just comes from experience and practice. And again, we can just look at that in slow motion. We've got the caber tosser coming over the bridge. We just have to wait for the right time. And you'll see the caber tosser pushes the assassin, doesn't push him very far, but pushes him enough. But the caber tosser doesn't react to the assassin. We mentioned before, it's all about pushing that stealthed unit. So that's another little collision grab there. And probably the hardest collision grab of them all is on a fast unit that's coming across the bridge. So, for example, a rammer. And again, the rammer makes it difficult because A, the rammer is fast, and B, the rammer's not going to react to your unit. So the window that you have to grab that bridge is very small. So here we look. The rammer comes over the bridge at the bottom, and we spawn the warrior just at the right time that the rammer pushes the warrior back onto the bridge and carries on going. And again, these things happen really quickly. We can just look at this one again in slow motion here. We've got the rammer coming over the bridge. We're just being patient. We've got to spawn the warrior. Almost split second precision here. Not much movement, but it moves the warrior enough that we take the bridge. And there we see the bear trap just conveniently grabbing that. And again, we're defending, but we've grabbed the bridge. Now, most units, when you put them down, they need to move onto the bridge to grab the bridge. But there's certain units, because they're units you get a lot of, when you place them down, they can immediately take the bridge. And the important point there is that they can take the bridge even when they're going to have to move back. So normally, if you place something like a warrior near the bridge and there's an enemy on the left-hand side of it here, the warrior's not going to go on the bridge. It's going to walk back and get some to help out with the defense. But if we look here, if you look down the bottom here, we've got the skeletons coming over the bottom bridge. Boom, we can take the bottom bridge immediately with the blood imps, even though the blood imps are going to go fighting backwards. So that's something you could do with things like blood imps and prop scrats and a few different units there. So that's a nice way to grab a bridge, even if you're going to have your units retreating. Now, another way that you can grab bridges is by using air units that can grab bridges over the top of melee units. Now, I've got an example here of a whelp. It's not the best example, but it does show you kind of how you can do it. We see here the skeletons on the bottom bridge, the whelp. It's tricky to do this because there's so many skellies, but you see the whelp just moved onto the bridge there and grabbed it. So we've got a better example with the hugger coming up here, and the important part of these situations. Sorry, that sound in the background is Stream Raiders. Let's turn that off. Forgot I had that running. Now, what you need to do with these bridge grabs, with things like the Haunting Hugger and the Whelp, is you need to time it so that you place your unit so that it will move onto the bridge and start attacking the enemy unit. And especially with the Hugger, you need to time it so that the enemy unit is then off of the bridge once the Hugger attacks. And again, if we watch it in slow-mo, if we watch an example of it, you can see exactly what happens here. We've got the caber tosser, the Hugger moves onto the bridge, only just, but enough to grab the bridge. So we took the bridge, even though he walked across the bridge, we stole it from him. And that's a real good example of what you can do with the Hugger and the Whelp and things like that. You can grab a bridge from units walking over. And again, we're defending, but we've taken the bridge. Now, just a couple more examples. These are all really little things, but they can really add up during the game. So basically what happens when you take a bridge, a timer starts, and if you hold that bridge for 4 seconds, then you get some experience. So just holding the bridge for at least 4 seconds, or denying your opponent from holding it from 4 seconds, can help you or hinder your opponent from an experience point of view. Now, we've seen how you can grab one bridge using these techniques. There's a few techniques, one in particular where you can grab both bridges. We're going to look at the use of the Prop Scrats. Now, what's going to happen here is you're going to see both bridges are being taken by the opponent with melee ground units. If we spawn the Prop Scrats right in the middle here, at the right time, you'll see they'll spread out beautifully and take both bridges. Let's look at that in action. Okay, so here we go. The Skelly's here. You've got to make sure you spawn the Prop Scrats early enough so that they've got time to move forward and then spread out. You can see 2 of them went to the top, grabbed the bridge. 1 of them went to the bottom, grabbed the bridge. There we see. We can deal with the defense there, but we've taken the bridges. Again, super convenient, super mana efficient. We've used those units to grab both bridges, and they're DPSing as well. And the last thing I want to cover is if fighting on the bridge. You don't really want to fight on the bridge as much as possible, okay? If you're on the bridge, then although you are keeping it neutral, you're not able to hold it yourself if you and your opponents are on the bridge. So what we've got an example here of, we're going to have some plasma marines at the bottom here trying to take this bottom bridge. What we're going to do is, instead of waiting for them to get right on top of where we can spawn the warrior, which from the warrior's point of view is the most efficient way to deal with them because it doesn't have to walk into the ranged damage, what we're going to do is we're going to actually put the warrior down to stop the ranged before it gets to the bridge, and that means the bridge stays blue for the entire time. And again, if we just have a quick look at that here, it will make perfect sense. See, the Marines are coming here. We're going to put the warrior down. The Marines stop before they get on the bridge. Now, the warrior has to walk into the damage, so it's not fully efficient from that point of view, but we kept the bridge for that whole time, and we forced our opponent to spawn something else. So, that's just a few little hints and tips about bridge grabbing. And hopefully, if you can utilize 1, 2, maybe even more of those in any of your matches, it can just allow you to be more efficient in grabbing the bridges, hold the bridges for longer, unlock those perks, and hopefully allow you to perform better. Now, if you've got any questions, please put them in the comments. If you've got any ideas of other different things that you can utilize for bridge grabs, again, please share that. If you've got anything you want explained in further videos, again, let us know that as well. Now, we're very close to 1,000 subs on YouTube. That's a current goal. So if you did enjoy this video, I would really like it if you would hit that sub button, ring the bell, give it a thumbs up. Let us know in the comments what you thought about it. That would be amazing. So just to let you guys know, my name is BadAsFish80. This is the Fish Tank. We are sponsored by Sneak Energy, so you can use code FISH at sneakenergy.com. But if you haven't tried out Minion Masters, it's free to play on PC and on Xbox, and it's coming soon cross-platform to mobile, and you can have a look in some of my other videos to see what you think about the mobile experience. But thanks a lot for your time, and I'll see you soon in another one of these tips and tricks videos. This is the Fish, signing out.